I'm Joanna Simpson here at Risk Minds International in London. Joining me now is Alexandra Boleslawski, Group Chief Risk Officer and member of the Executive Committee at Crédit Agricole Group. Thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And just tell me a bit about market conditions this year, and in previous years have been volatile. What's your outlook for 2024, and do you see the economic environment improving?
We believe that we are going into a soft landing situation, maybe with a better outlook than what we were fearing at the start of the year. In the US, you've seen that growth is better than expected, and now inflation is really getting a little bit lower. So globally, the outlook is not as bad as anticipated. But I think we need to figure out that we will probably remain in Europe now, in a situation with a low growth environment, with some underlying high inflation, and with interest rates that will remain at a high level for a while before, the central banks start to make them decrease.
There's even more geopolitical conflict in the world at the moment. How much will geopolitical risk become something that keeps CROs awake at night?
The first thing is that we need to sleep well. Otherwise, we need to have another, job. Indeed, it can be stressful. The geopolitical risk and country risk have been mispriced over the last, maybe 10 or 20 years back. Before the war in Ukraine, has been like, a reminder of the risk. And we have also experienced the various forms this risk, can take, from the physical war on the ground, which is the most dramatic form of it, through the sanction and counter-sanction type of, measures. And we need to help organizations to go through those shocks, to withstand the shocks. And for this, we need to regularly revisit our risk appetite, our risk limits, or our alert threshold. But we also need to look at, the way we do business and raise the right questions. How do you do business in a country? Through a branch or through a subsidiary? Whether you want to look for a local partner, for instance, to team up there, or do it on your own. You also need to look at, whether you can book offshore or onshore. You need to look at your maturities. You need to look also at the jurisdictions where your securities, your collateral will be registered. So these are all, types of detailed matters to look into to mitigate the risk. I think that for global and universal banks such as Crédit Agricole, you cannot immunize completely the group. But there are actions to be taken so that we can withstand a shock of this nature.
And what other risks will be front of mind in 2024?
Well, many. We also have cyber risk, and especially when, the geopolitical risk is on the front, usually you have the cyber risk with it. We have climate and transition risk that are also growing and that are an area of focus of all the CROs at the moment. But I believe that in 2024, we will have to focus on very classic risk, which is credit risk, and the interaction between liquidity risk and credit risk. As you know, central banks are reducing the size of their balance sheet. There's less liquidity in the market than there used to be. And whilst our corporates have very well managed their, debt portfolio in the past, whilst time is passing, they will have to refinance again. And the liquidity pressure, the difficulty and the cost to access the market can be, a difficult time that make the credit risk, becoming more, I would say, difficult. So I believe that credit risk will be something to look at very carefully in 2024.
And there are comparatively still not as many women in this area. As a leader and also as part of the panel for women in leading risk management roles, how can we help promote this further?
You're right. I mean, it's indeed a challenge because you can see in the industry that there are not so many women, even if I think that their number is increasing. And this is a long-term, effort, because to ease the access at the highest, possible position within a financial institution, you need to build your talent pool, and therefore you need to make sure that you have enough, women in this talent pool. And for this, each time it is possible, you need to consider women as men for any new, assignment that I would say is open. You also need to give them confidence. Very often, women, they more, have difficulty to get out from their comfort zone. They want to control, to know everything, but they may not be aware of their capabilities, and you need to give them the confidence that they will succeed. And that's part of our job, to do this so as to help them to access those positions.
That's all very important things. Alexandra Boleslawski, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.